Welcome. You're right where you belong. Eugenia and I have been friends for 28 years, and while life phases and stages, racking up titles and all the etceteras in life keep us busy, we are intentional about keeping each other centered and committed, and to picking up right where we left off. After all, it's our life support.
Welcome back to Life Support with Eugenia and Alexis. Today we're talking about making the most of limited hours. Because we wear so many hats, we have to properly divide our time throughout our day. So that can be, kind of difficult for some of us. But anyways, hey girl, how is your week going?
First things first, right? The week is going good. I really can't complain. Grace is in full effect, and I've gotten quite a bit done. And I definitely think it goes right back down to time and properly allocating time, as you were mentioning. I would say this week, a win for me is making sure to get all of my daughter's props for school. We have the last week of school this week. So getting those ready ahead of time is going to definitely award me with maybe a nap, a silent lunch, or just prepping for end of year festivities just to, get excited about summertime being around the corner. Flops are many. This week, I could have maximized my time a little bit better. But again, it goes back down to that exercising the no and just staying scripted and staying on schedule. So definitely struggled with that a little bit, but overall, definitely accomplished quite a bit.
Okay, great.
Yes. How about you?
Um, yeah, so I had a little bit of a flop this week.
Okay.
My son got sick,
Mm.
so I had to take him to the doctor, and that wasn't how I had my day planned. Because he was sick, he had to miss school. But he was making progress and he's recovering, he's doing well, he's back in school. So at the end, it became a win for me. So yeah,
Yes. Back at school. We like that.
right. Everything is centered around time. I have my most productive time when my toddler is taking his nap. This is something that I think all entrepreneurial moms go through is trying to fit a business into those little time slots that we may or may not have. So it's difficult sometimes to try to like marry the two. So, Alexis, what do you feel your most productive time is during your day?
I would definitely say we are far past nap time. That kind of ended a little early, but I feel like school hours are my most productive times to really kind of scratch off tasks. I don't always get to utilize all of my time, so I definitely try to dedicate 3 hours out of the entire time block to business only. And that really has helped me to stay structured, stay on schedule, and really be intentional about the time that I'm using. Meetings, any consults that I have, administrative tasks that needs to be done and completed in a time crunch. I definitely try to utilize that time because I just can't have bouncing on the couch next to me or mom can I have a juice box. Are you cooking something later?
Oh,
Can I watch this show? Can I watch the? It's like no one ever asks you questions when you're available. It's only when you're unavailable. So those times where I just have to be unavailable, they have to be done during that 3 hour block.
right. Okay.
Yes. What about
Yeah.
you?
For me, it's during my toddler's nap time, like I said before. And typically that lasts between anywhere from 45 to maybe 90 minutes. So that's not a lot of time at all. So that's the time when I can try to get my batch work done. as far as social media is concerned, trying to figure out content or make content, emails, and our website. So my thing is, y'all, I have like mom brain to the max, brain fog all the time, right? I'm still working on prioritizing because sometimes during the 45-minute to 90-minute time span, I'm like, okay, I need to do this for business, but I also need to make doctor's appointments or I also need to fill out paperwork. So I try to dedicate that time mainly to business, but sometimes it doesn't always work.
Moms are gonna mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That definitely resonates with me. I have found batching appointments just as I do content or event orders is the way to go.
Yeah.
So summer is here, which I preach this all the time. Go ahead, get all of your doctor's appointments done all in the same day. You can, take them out on a lunch date, make it a whole thing and get all of it done. Get all of those sports forms filled out. I don't know about you, but our doctor's office charges if you get forms outside of your appointment times.
Oh,
So it's important to think ahead and make sure you get that done. It's stressful, but
mhm.
it's stressful for a day versus taking time away several times over the course of a few months
Like one
so
and done.
that's the best win and use of my time. And really, honestly, it doesn't seem like it at that point, but my sanity.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. I
Totally.
can't. Yeah. So batching the appointments as we do content and other work is like pro tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
So one of the things that I think I struggle with is perfection, right? I want to get everything done, number one, which I know I can't. When it comes to anything for my business, I want it to look perfect. Sometimes I can spend a significant amount of time on one thing when I can use my time better, tackling a few things in that time span. Do you struggle with perfection at all?
Severely.
I knew the answer to that. I already knew.
You don't know me. I'm just messing. Yeah, I struggle with it pretty intensely. I have gotten better as the years have rolled. And a lot of that is just because I feel like at this point, there's so many things that are out of my control. I just have to cut the madness.
Hmm.
So, yes, I do struggle with perfection, but I have really started to prioritize progress over perfection and using that as my compass versus determining if something is perfect. Because a lot of times, the perfection aspect turns me into The Walking Dead. I'm paralyzed in
Right.
the execution because I'm so fixated on perfection. So I really have been making strides to reach beyond that because it can really sabotage business.
Yeah. I agree totally. And I'm working on that myself. I think I've made significant changes to that.
Do you feel like striving for perfection helps you to be more intentional? Does it paralyze you, like what I was mentioning? Does it halt progress or does it fuel you to just go harder? Like, what does it do for you?
I feel like it definitely, I could say it makes me more intentional, but at the same time, it does halt my progress. I'm a really analytical person, so I think I overanalyze a lot of things. I feel like that's just something that I'm working on within myself because at the end of the day, my business doesn't have to grow at a fast rate, right? We all just want our business to grow strong. So as long as I keep telling myself that, it helps me.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because when you have a strong foundation, it's definitely going to last. There's going to be residuals, and it's going to be work that you are proud of. So when you take advantage of these nap time hours that you have during the week, what does that look like?
I try to stick to a routine, but I'm gonna be real with y'all. Sometimes it's not a routine, but what I try to do, because I know I don't have as much time, I'd spend maybe 10 minutes or so just kind of mapping out my priority list. Then I take a couple of minutes, anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes, doing exactly what's on my list. That's what I try to spend most of my time on. And then it just depends on when he decides to wake up. If I have a little window later on during the day, I'll try to finish whatever's next on my priority list. So,
I find for me, the task list starts the night before. Like I told you, I probably text myself the most.
right.
Going on my phone, it's always going to be me texting me. I jot down and make a voice memo the night before and get up with that, forefront. If I'm, like, for instance, talking to you today, I made sure early this morning that I had my tripod up, everything ready to go so that when it's time to get to work, I'm not scrambling and rummaging for things. The rummage and the scramble is where you start to lose steam because you're frustrated.
Definitely.
I'm frustrated. So I'm just like, I can't do that. So I make sure to go ahead and handle those things beforehand so that I can be on task as soon as my time block begins.
Yes. Okay. I might need to start doing that. The
It
night
you it
before,
it might be a game changer. It might
yeah,
be a game changer for you.
definitely. I need to incorporate that. When you mentioned voice memos, I use voice memos because, like I told you, the brain fog is out of control.
It's
Okay.
like it's like The Mist. Have you seen that
Yes.
movie? It's like The
Yes.
Mist. It's like, where was I even going?
Exactly.
I
It's
came
like,
into this room, why?
yeah, I grabbed this. Why? Like, what am I using this for? It's just out of control. So I try to use voice memos when something just pops up in my head and I can grab my phone and record it. This is our idea for my business. I need to pick this up from the grocery store. It's just something quick and easy that I like to do. And it has helped me tremendously because it used to be a time where I didn't use voice memos. I didn't write anything down. I would come up with all of these ideas and tasks that I need to do, and none of it would get completed because I completely forgot about it.
There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, if I try to be risky and say, "Oh, I'll remember it later,"
Yeah.
it's over. So, yes, voice memos, reminders, sticky notes, text. I'm a texter.
I need to incorporate that.
Yes,
Yes.
all of that.
Hmm.
Are definitely ways to help support getting your tasks done in those small windows of time.
Right.
Yes. And sometimes, we always look at productivity as doing something, but sometimes productivity is in the rest. So, would you say that prioritizing rest or just having downtime to just be still matters?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes when my son takes a nap, I might take one too. Okay. Because I feel just exhausted for that day. And I know with me, once I get to a certain level of tiredness or exhaustion,
Hmm.
I can try to work, I can try to do stuff, but it doesn't work out. So my body lets me know, hey, you need to rest. So I definitely try to prioritize that. And like we were talking about in our past episode, I'm trying to prioritize my bedtime because sometimes I feel like, okay, I put the kids to bed, And yeah, now it's my time to maybe catch up on some more work or do something like that. And by the time I know
Well,
it, it's like 11 or 12 o'clock.
yes. And I would love to say that I am catching up on some work, but that last little bit, I'm rubbing my feet together in the bed,
Right.
looking at memes, cackling, laughing, and then you're like, what time is it?
That's the vibe
You
I
know?
have now. I I don't do any more work. When the kids go to bed, okay, it's my time to relax. So whatever show I want to catch up on, whatever self-care type of routine I want to implement, that's what that time is for now.
A lot of times I'm so overwhelmed with the day, even if it was a successful day, that, oh, they're going to bed at 8:30. Oh, I'll be in the bed by 8:45. And it's like that now has to become time to say, okay, I can get an extra hour in, which
Mhm.
really requires a certain level of discipline
It does.
itself.
It does.
And that definitely was a mind shift I had to have because there's just not enough, hours in the day. I do get
Yeah.
up very early and I do get up before everyone. But I realized that in order for me to break ground on new initiatives, I also have to go to bed later.
Hmm.
Me no likey, but it's necessary.
Yeah, I always go to bed later, but my thing is that I can't do the 11 o'clock, the 12 o'clock anymore.
Mm-mm. No.
I cannot. So once I put them to bed,
Mm-mm.
8 o'clock, 8:30, I try not to do work unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yes.
Because I try to use that time to like relax. So after I put the kids to bed, I give myself maybe 10:30.
Mm. That's good.
Yeah. I wish it could be earlier, but it's like the time just goes by so fast and I haven't even, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I haven't gotten to rub my feet together yet,
Mm.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. When you do catch the show or you do say, you know what, I'm not going to do any work, I'm going to rest, do you feel like you have guilt or do you give yourself grace? Is it grace or guilt?
Oh, baby, it's grace.
Oh, yes.
It's grace, okay?
Yes.
Because I've been dealing with you guys all day, okay?
Yes.
I have two that are in school, but I have my toddler all day.
Yes.
So it's like I can get like an hour or two of like me time. Yeah, it's all grace.
Mm.
That guilt went out the window a long time ago.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
I love that. I definitely think that also gives others permission to consider giving themselves grace too, because a lot of times you feel like you aren't doing enough,
Right.
or you could be doing more.
Right. For me, I don't know about you, but um when you brought up grace or guilt, how do you feel about when maybe your day doesn't go as planned? Do you give yourself grace or do you have guilt?
I used to struggle with guilt
Mhm.
horribly just because I was very regimented and wanted to always be hitting my marks. And then I became a mom of three.
Mm.
And again, because it became out of my control, I was forced to let go of the guilt because I really had to remember that I am a human and I am going to fall short. Also, give myself acknowledgement for doing the best possible in the moment. I give 100%. And I really try to do things with excellence and I that has to count for something, not just with others, but more so for me
Yes.
because I feel like I can be harder on myself than what I experience with others. So now it's grace, but
Mhm.
it's grace now because I just felt like I had no other choice.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
What about you?
I give myself grace, but I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do have a little guilt when things don't go as planned. And I think that's because maybe I hyper focus on everything going exactly how it's supposed to go. And so for me, I know that I don't need to focus on everything because everything's not perfect. But in my mind, if my day goes as planned, that's as close as perfect as can be. So I need to not hyper focus on that because I get disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's easy to focus on what didn't work
Exactly.
or the negatives, and it really takes a certain level of strength to, like we were saying last week, celebrate those wins and acknowledge that. We really have to stop just pulling ourselves apart
Yes,
to those levels.
exactly.
Yeah. So we are making the most of that time
Hmm.
by, for you, batching content
Hmm.
and um doing multiple tasks within that window. And for me, a lot of the same, and handling what can't be handled with the family present,
Right. Yes,
things that require more
exactly.
of yourself than being able to be in the midst of others and still getting it done.
Yes.
So, my homework for you would be start texting yourself and give batching appointments a try.
Okay. Yeah, I think I could do that. My tip for you would be to introduce relaxation in your bedtime a little bit more. I know we want to. It's like we can get stuff done during that time, but we really need relaxation.
True.
And on that note, next week we'll be chatting about prioritizing bedtime and ways to get settled for the night after juggling mom life and business. Make sure, because we would love to know, you share your biggest downtime win in the comments.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for spending a part of your Hustle with Heart journey with us. And remember, your pace is still progress.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
If this episode inspired you, we'd love to hear your biggest takeaway. Slide into our DMs on Instagram at @thelifesupport_.
If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a Power Hour pep talk. And leave a comment. It helps other mamas find us and transforms one mom's hustle into all of our community boosts.